Okay, cool. Let's have
Then I'm gonna get us started, and if more people care to join us, they can.
Sweet.
So, welcome to our costume versus cosplay party. We're the TARDIS party. I don't think it said it, but we are a cosplay group, and let's do introductions.
I am right betwixt the lines.
I'm Terrain Master.
Facetious Fiend.
Kethri SJS.
Yes. So, we're a cosplay group. We started, when was it? It was
2008.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
We started in 2008. Ray Betwixt and I created the group because we decided to cosplay with our friends. We saw people online, and these lovely people have joined us since. Basically, what I'd like to bring up first is, obviously, there is costume and there is cosplay. And there has to be a difference between them, because otherwise why would there be two different words? I guess I'll let you guys add your opinions in. Personally, what I would say the difference between a costume and a cosplay is a costume is more or less focused on the clothing that you're wearing, the construction of it perhaps, but whereas cosplay is not only wearing said costume, but it's also embodying the character that you are dressing as. Does anyone want to add?
I just want to add that this is also an open discussion. If you have questions at any time.
Or comments.
Just
you can probably just shout.
We don't like people waiting till the end.
Yeah,
then you might forget, and I prefer an open discussion format. But so that's what I've always kind of felt the difference was, because it's just cosplay in a sense takes a little bit of the acting world onto it as well, because there's a difference between, well, actually we get to that later.
We have bullet notes.
On my bullet points.
We have bullet notes.
Are we getting to the difference between live action role playing and cosplaying eventually? Is that where you were going?
I didn't bring that up, but I can go there if you would like me to.
Sure. It's pretty similar.
I mean, it is very similar, I guess. I mean, I guess you can say that cosplaying is the same as live action role playing, just involving a costume with it. 'Cause, like,
you've never met my group then.
Well,
okay.
necessarily.
Well, I mean, I think everyone has slightly different definitions. So this is just kind of our ideas.
It is quite. Well, I live action roleplay too. So
I honestly think that it's more from costume to cosplay to live action roleplay. It's more of a continuum. It's wherever you decide to draw the line on that list.
Yeah, they're all
everybody's gonna have their own opinion, because someone will come up to me and go, "Well, that's not sewn right," and that's not, and they'll be saying I'm not cosplaying because I don't have the proper costume, and I'm going, but I'm embodying the character. So it kind of depends on where everybody in themselves draws the line.
The lines are very, very much blurred. Now, it is a lot easier with cons, like conventions themselves between costuming and cosplaying. Like, for instance, tomorrow, I don't know if they're running it like they did 2 years ago, but they had a masquerade skit contest and a costume contest as two separate things. Whereas the costume contest focused on, you know, how you created your outfit, how did it look and everything, whereas cosplay was more of how well were you embodying the character, you know, was your skit, did the characters interact in a believable way, was it written like said characters, you know, that sort of thing. Where it definitely does get very difficult in telling is when you move into photography, because if you look online, a lot of people have their cosplay photos online. And of course, when you're not talking to that person and seeing if they can embody the character themselves, it's very difficult when you're just looking at an image.
So I have a question for you. When you look at a picture online, when you see like someone who is dressed up as, you know, the Doctor or, you know, Amy or Adric or something like that, what makes it a cosplay photo to you? Because everyone has their own definite opinions. So tell me. Yes, Jasmine.
There's this girl I follow on DeviantArt. She does lots of cosplays, all different types of things. And I think what makes it cosplay to me is that not only is she wearing it, she's also she looks like the character, like her facial expressions and like even the setting sometimes. She kind of she was a character from some fairy thing. I can't remember anymore. Oh, Tinkerbell, that's what it was. Tinkerbell. And she was in this big field.
No, Tinkerbell is totally valid. Totally. I love Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell's awesome. And how often can you say the master said Tinkerbell was awesome? So.
That's true.
Yes.
That's very true.
Very, very true.
Okay, why did I say that? Okay, but basically she's like in a big field of flowers and everything, and it was just this beautiful like scenery, and she does that for a lot of her pictures. And so
it's good. It's
she
good.
That's when we were discussing and talking about what we were going to talk about in this panel. That's kind of what we decided on, because I've seen a lot of pictures where people will say it's cosplay, and I have no problem with this, but they're standing in their bedroom and they're just wearing their outfit, plain grin on their face, or like their arms around their friends who aren't dressed up, and I personally don't see that as a cosplay. To make it a cosplay picture instead of a picture of a costume, I see you involving your elements around you, the setting that you're in, or the expression that you're using, the pose that you're using, the props that you're using in the image to make it believe that, oh, it's not this person dressed up as this person, more as it is this person, or like it is the doctor instead of someone wearing clothes that the doctor would wear.
It's very easy with Doctor Who too, because most things are shot in rock quarries. So you've got like lots of options. Like you can take pictures of Doctor Who anywhere because of, it's timey-wimey timeline.
Wibbly-wobbly?
Wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey timeline.
Yeah. Can you do that faster?
Wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey timeline.
Wow.
Wow, that's right.
Now do it backwards.
Here, I tried.
Nice.
Good job, Nissa. So, embodying the character?
I wanted to make sure they didn't have anything to say about that.
Yeah, I definitely think you've got to sort of try and channel something of them, look at the poses. I mean, we carry pictures of them. I'm upgrading to smartphone and I have pictures of all the characters on there so that we can reference them. So that we can go, oh, okay, that's what we need to do to sort of try and channel that person, because otherwise we're just standing there like, hi!
Yeah,
and, the doctor isn't some cute little schoolgirl going.
And I will definitely say, as being in this cosplay group for a while, I don't think it's ever really gotten easier deciding, because it's fun and all when you have these ideas in your head, and then when you actually have the camera in front of you and someone's going, okay, you need to be the character, sometimes you have a moment where you're like, okay, and it's a little bit hard to get into that mindset after a while, but I mean, we obviously have our things that we've done, and
that's kind of like what we're doing right now. Right now, we're costuming, because we're talking to you like us.
Yes. Well, yeah.
We're not trying to be in character at all, because, I'm sorry, I have no idea how Adric would react to this situation at all. So I can't even begin.
Yeah.
But
that's like one.
So embodying the character, that's the next subject you want to.
With embodying the character, now, there can be a lot of, I don't know how to
It's
talk
all
about
you made it!
You made it! Hello!
Give us your names, because we know everyone's name now.
Well, I guess I'm Andrew.
Okay, Andrew. Oh, and someone else.
Andrew.
Do you want to tell us your name too? Because we're like on first name basis.
Bow ties are cool.
What is this?
Angel.
I like you. Okay.
Alright then, wow.
Nice name.
We were on to embodiment of the character, and also we have variations thereof, because I've met so many cosplayers throughout the years who all have different variations. Like, I went to Dragon Con a couple years back, and there's a video floating around somewhere called Paradox of Doctors. How many of us were there? It was me, Tall 10, Banana 10, Handy, 6, 10, 9. So there were like 6 of us. 5 of us were cosplaying as the 10th Doctor. And each one of us specifically had a different take on it, but I don't think that any one of us was wrong, because it's all your interpretation of the character, as long as you're fitting within, there's a difference. Like, if, say, you're playing the 10th Doctor, it wouldn't necessarily be in character to run around with a gun trying to kill people. Like, that, we all know that's a no-no. But within the limitations of who he is, you could have very many variations of that, and I don't believe anyone's wrong, and there can be a lot of hate within the cosplay world where people are like, well, obviously I'm better than you, I understand the character better, but I don't think that that's valid to say to anyone, because it's how they view the character, their relationship with that character, and how they feel they need to portray it.
I've always felt that, well, because I am studying to be an actor, so as an actor, I've always felt that I should treat each character as their own person, and each person is part of you. So, if I am going to, I'm dressed as Nissa today, say I'm going to be cosplaying Nissa, I try to think of her as her own person, and I try to react to the situations I'm in as she would. And because I'm also there, it's part of me. So it's like a nice little mesh of me and her together as one. Like a sandwich.
Like a sandwich.
With no thing in the middle.
Anything you'd like to add? Either of you?
I think it's kind of like the Doctor himself. There are so many different areas to him throughout his generation and each one of them is valid. It's the same thing with cosplaying. I think we can take different parts of it, but he's ultimately the same man.
Yeah, and you can also see in later versions of the Doctor, every regeneration, you can actually see like, oh, that's very much like the second Doctor would have done, or that's very much like 5, and you can literally see parts where he like pulls out the brainy specs. That's from this Doctor. You know, you can actually see parts because they're all building off the same character, but they all have a completely different way of portraying it. I mean, Baker, both of them didn't portray each other at all. Like, sorry, they didn't come close. It's very interesting though.
It's kind of like each actor is just like cosplaying. Like cosplaying several. Next
It's kind of interesting, except they get paid, and I think that's what takes it from being cosplay to acting, is you get paid to do it.
Yes. Yes. All right.
So then we have
next point. Can you cosplay without?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You say it then.
Get done talking, master. Okay. Can you cosplay without a costume? Because you can costume
and you can
cosplay. But can you cosplay without one? Thoughts? Angel says no.
Why don't you think so?
Because costume's also part of the character.
Oh, good point. Very good
That
point.
is very true.
That's very true.
Well, that depends on the character. For example, the Master has been in so many different bodies, wearing so many different things. Anybody could portray the Master wearing just about anything, so long as they portrayed their interpretation of his personality.
But then in wearing whatever they're wearing, does that become a costume?
Oh! It is the eternal paradox.
I think I always thought it was a very, very fuzzy line, because there are some people, like, for instance, you can, if we're taking the 11th Doctor, you can wear a shirt, bow tie, suspenders, tweed jacket. In various colors, and you can still get away with it as long as you have the general interpretation of who he is, and I think that's still cosplaying. Which, actually, that type of... Before I segue into the next thing, because I felt that made a nice thing, did anyone else have anything they wanted to say?
No, segue.
Okay.
No, I was gonna put something in.
Go ahead, I don't want to go over
I was gonna say that there's also, it's very much specific to the character, because certain characters, you only see them in one outfit, period.
True.
Yes.
Case in point.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen him in anything other than the same outfit, except for maybe the color was a little off, but I'm not really sure if that was
he was
the film.
Yeah, he
pirate.
was pirate.
Oh, there was a pirate. Okay,
yeah,
and the vampire. So that's not entirely true. But for the most part, you see some of them in only like 1 or 2 or 3 costumes, and you don't actually have an idea of what they might wear overall, because it's like, okay, well this time he's a vampire, or a pirate. It's a very specific type of costume, but you don't know what he normally would wear other than
So,
what you got.
Right.
I
still
think,
kind of specific.
Like you always see Jamie in a kilt.
yeah.
Yes.
So,
exactly.
So
Thank you, better example.
I guess what it really comes down to, the difference between costume and cosplay, is it depends on the character. It depends on how open the character is within the show, and it depends on how you plan on playing them, or if you just want to wear the
I
outfit.
think it's also the era, because with the older stuff there's not as much variation, but now,
There's a little bit more.
starting with Rose, you had a lot more variation in outfits. You had a different outfit every episode, and Amy's the same.
So high maintenance.
Yeah, because if you were to cosplay Rose, you would have a very easy way to say, well, this is Rose Tyler-esque. However,
Which is what we used to do with
which is what we
Michael.
used to do when we
Yeah,
first
when we
began, before we had any money to put into anything. Not that I have any money to put into it now. When it comes to cosplaying, thrift stores are your best friend.
Yeah.
Almost this entire outfit.
Well, and knowing how to
Yeah,
sew
Miss
is
Rose.
helpful too.
Nothing wrong with that.
I made
Oh
it.
no, there is nothing wrong. We're gonna get to that later. Actually, to continue on, are you
Go
on?
for it.
Yeah.
Accuracy doesn't necessarily equal talent, and it's something that I've run into a lot when people talk online to cosplayers. I have seen so many people where they have, specifically in pictures alone, where they have excellent expression, understanding of the character, but their jacket's a slightly wrong color or not the right cut, and people will be like, well, that's not accurate, you're not a very good cosplayer, and I personally don't think that's true, because I think a lot of it is the value that you bring to the role that you're playing, that you're portraying for everyone. Because it's just, not everyone is going to have a bunch of money to spend, or a really nice camera, or photography skills to make it look really good, because I've seen a lot of people out there who, I'll be honest, I've seen people who have portrayed the Master better than I have, because they have money to do the standard outfit that Anthony Ainley wore, and I don't have the money to make that, because I'm not going to go to a thrift store and find that nice velvet outfit with that collar. It's just never going to happen until I can make it. But I don't think that makes me any less talented than them, in my own opinion. I think it's a lot of those values that you bring.
It's like I said before, it's a lot of you in that character. You have to bring you to it, and it's better to have a blazer that, hi, new person.
Hello.
It's better to have, what's your name? Come
Nice
up
to
here.
meet you. We don't bite.
Yeah,
I
we don't
promise.
bite. We'll restrain the master. It's okay.
I promised them I would behave.
He's actually chained to the chair, it's fine.
You just can't see it under the
You're
table.
kind of a fire master, aren't you? No, I get it. I'm sorry. I was a little confused. Like, hi. Fire.
So,
Yes, so it says if your if your blazer is a good color but your pants don't exactly match, if you are personally think that you're portraying that character to the best of your abilities, then that's good enough. It really is. It's all about your personal interpretation.
And ignore the naysayers.
And-
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
oh, and more than anything that I've come to find that the cosplaying is about fun. It's about having fun with it. I mean, if you're gonna go out there and try to be incredibly screen accurate and stress yourself out over that and worry about what people are gonna say about your outfit and how you're portraying it, what's the point of doing it? You should be doing it for yourself and for the fun of, doing something you love, as in anything else.
However, if you really, really like to be screen accurate, that's cool too.
Oh.
Because I am like really anal about my
Do not
screen
stress.
accuracy.
No, I completely agree with that. I like to be screen accurate too, and God, I would love to own half the costumes that they have on the shows. And I would like to work towards that one day, but I'm starting with this, and I'm going to build off of this and continue to better my outfit.
The most important message out of this before we move on is do not stress yourself out over the details. Because when you're starting out, it is just easier to get the basics and then build on it and make it better for yourself each and every time. This is the first outfit I have ever done. I made this from scratch and I don't know what I was doing, but I'm gonna make it better over time. And it's my first attempt at a costume, and it turned out pretty okay.
Do you have anything?
I mean, it's something we all struggle with, especially. I mean, this year we lost a little bit of the fun of it. I feel Catherine and I were worrying over details, and then we sort of, you sort of have to be like, stop, just go with the fun of it. It's not worth the hassle and the stress.
I skipped to that point. I apologize, but I think we all had that in getting prepared because there were a few weeks before that. Honestly, all of us were at each other's throats. Let's be completely honest. I think we were all ready to kill each other at some point. And I mean, we were, and that's not the point of the cosplay group because these are my best friends, and I shouldn't be fighting with them. I mean, I'm not. I mean, as much as I'd like to impress you people, I'm here to have fun with them and hopefully bring some joy to other people along the way and inspire them to try and do something like this if they want to.
Next point.
Yeah, next point. We have a lot of time.
I'm just gonna be on track.
Let's not torture everybody though.
Oh, fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
Any questions you have so far? Anything at all?
Yeah, just interrupt.
Yeah, please just be like,
we'll talk for
hey
ages.
guys, shut up. I have questions. Shut up.
Actually, they'll tell you. I will never shut up.
It's true.
So,
Never. Alright.
props. Props, I've always felt are very important to cosplay.
Nice one. Good.
You
insight.
can go for a while.
Of course.
Where's that yo-yo?
We picked the one
I
that
have
don't
the yo-yo
costume
somewhere.
I know,
That's
like, I'm
not
not proud
proud.
of
The one costume.
You guys do bad, technically.
Cleaning
But-
rags
but-
are
but-
used because I'm
yeah,
that
that's
much of a
my problem.
nerd.
You got anything else?
I wrote.
No, the bat's in the car.
I'm
I have
sorry I
to put the bat.
left the celery at home.
I'm
sorry.
I forgot to
Sorry.
grab the bat,
Now-
didn't I?
Something I've always found with props is they can help, but they're not essential.
Yes.
Obviously. I mean, that's more money and whatever. I've personally found that some of my favorite cosplayers do wonderful with little knickknacks that they find and put together for themselves. And I've always found the props to be one of the most fun things about it is where you get to use the most of your creativity in how to make something. I mean, like, you can't make a cricket ball. That's something you have to get. Especially like when you're playing the doctor, there's so many things you can just stick in your pockets because he just carries everything.
Satsuma.
Yes. Banana. Yeah, actually, one of my favorite prop moments with cosplayers is when I was at Dragon Con and all of our different doctors that we had to tell them apart, we each got nicknamed different things. I was Travel 10 because I am the shortest 10 cosplayer that was there. I'm only 5'4". That goes with the accuracy thing, I'm not gonna be 6 foot like David Tennant, but that's not gonna stop me. But like for instance, my TCE was a bit of a puzzle on how to make that because it's such a iconic prop. People know what it is. this is the end to a water gun shooter that I ripped off and sanded down and painted. It's actually a kind of a bright blue color, but I think that gives you the chance to be creative and just bring a little bit more to the character, because I've had people not know who I am. Last year, or not last year, 2 years ago at Hurricane Who, they invited Tony Lee, who does comics and stuff, and half the time I was going around the con in this outfit and they kept calling me Tony Lee and saying I was cosplaying Tony Lee. And as fun as that was, I'm sitting there going, but that's not who I intended, you know, that's not who I intended, and it's helped to have that with me. Just a simple prop to make it that much easier. Do you guys want to add?
It
Actually,
helps.
this morning,
It helps.
Well, I'm like,
It helps a lot, apparently in her case.
it helps actually a lot, because this morning I got mistaken. I was actually in Sarah Jane Smith cosplay. You know, jeans, little blazer, nice shirt, and purse, great thing. And I was, you know, in full journalist mode, and somebody looks up and goes, "Oh, you're Donna Noble." And I'm looking at it going, completely wrong color hair, wrong color jacket, completely wrong everything, but thanks for thinking I'm trying to, because that's really cool. And I was sitting there going, I really could have pulled out my Sonic lipstick. That really
you
would have
had
given
your
it
name
away.
badge
If I had
on.
canine in tow, that really would have given it away.
someone asked me if I was Tegan. So, this is a wig, it's not my hair. Does anyone think this is my hair? Well, no?
I've seen you adjust it several times.
Thank
so.
you, thank you. Okay, because I'm sitting there going like, I'm like playing with it, and everyone's like, oh, you're Tegan, and I'm like,
Is there anything you want
I
to
have
add?
to take it if you're borrowing my
No?
wig.
For real, for sure.
The fun time is part
You
the
can
end
bring
of
it
the day.
up.
Whoosh. Hey.
Whoa!
hey, yes?
I think when it comes to props, I just have to give props to. Take it where I can get it.
God damn it, +5. Okay.
She's cosplaying as a character with a very specific sword. We tracked down one of them online, and you sculpted a replica for the other sword of this
don't wanna
dragon
tell me
head,
about
both
that.
the top and bottom, and you wouldn't know the difference between them.
It's true that it is very impressive.
Except for the fact that it got stuck to something and it's now broken into 4 pieces, and I had to put it back together, so it looks horrible now. But it looked really awesome before.
It's fine. I think it looks fine, you know.
Yeah, it's
But so the props help but aren't essential, but I always thought they're fun to have and fun to play with, and it also adds a little bit more dimension to your photos when you're taking photos or doing videos. You know, that sort of thing helps.
Anyone else like to use props?
I want to get a Sonic screwdriver this weekend.
Yes,
That is. I have to say that is my favorite prop ever. Whenever I'm
your first
cosplaying.
Sonic.
Yeah. I almost bring mine with me everywhere. I bring it to school, and people, and I'll be sitting there, my laptop won't be working, and I'll just, and people are like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Shut up, it makes me feel better."
I used to carry
keep mine in
3
my
in my
jacket,
handbag,
so-
and then I went, okay, this is too nerdy.
Okay, well, I will say I really love doing props, especially like psychic paper.
Yes!
It's so easy to
Yes.
put together.
And
And
that's
the same thing with a TARDIS cube, because
Yes.
you can get a TARDIS cube like anywhere.
Oh, definitely. And
Let me see
some,
your TARDIS key.
and
Let me see it. Let me see it.
Oh, sure. I've got the gold one today, and I
That's
know
okay, I want to see it.
the silver ones are usually more accurate. But
No, but you put on a chain and everything. I like it.
Yeah,
Look,
it's
and
it's really good.
And something like psychic paper also allows you to embody the character just a little bit more, because when you flash it, you tell them something. That's a little bit of cosplay in and of itself, because you know it's something the character would do. On to our next point would be crossplay and gender bending.
Gender bending.
Well, there's a difference between crossplay and gender bending. For example, crossplay, at least in my definitions of the terms, people might think other things. Crossplay would be like, you know, you're a girl playing a guy.
Yeah.
Whereas gender bending would be like a feminine version of the Doctor. I think both have their values, and I think both of them do take a little bit more effort. Because I have seen, and I don't like want to harp on anyone, because some of their outfits are really good, but if you really want to go that extra mile to make it something believable, and I know it's not capable for some people, but I've seen some women play male characters and not attempt to even get a wig or style their hair in a certain way, or I'm bound right now to make myself flatter. They don't even try that, and it makes it a little bit harder. I'm not saying that that's wrong or inaccurate or anything, but I'd say I'm trying to find the right way to word it without sounding really mean.
Give yourself low.
Yeah,
You're the master right now.
I am the master. I can just be mean all over the place.
If you're cosplaying, you have an excuse.
do.
If you're just costuming, you're a jerk.
Thanks. But there's also the gender bending out thing. Whereas the same thing will happen if they say they're doing. I keep talking about the doctor, but why not?
Well, where are we?
I do have a femme jack.
Yes. There are people who will do like feminine version of the doctor, and they'll just leave their hair down and still be wearing the same thing. Like for instance, my favorite gender bend one was the one you showed me.
That was the Sixth Doctor, but she had built this Victorian dress patterned like the Sixth Doctor's coat.
Beautiful.
Enormous thing. She
Had
had
a parasol.
Yeah, her hair. She had this ornate hair. Her umbrella was lacy, but it was the rainbow colours of Six's umbrella, and it was impressive because you could tell all of the work and effort she put into going. This would be a feminine version of him.
Yeah. Instead of wearing the coat and leaving her hair down, which I'm not saying that's wrong.
Because interpretation is
It is interpretation, but I think it's nice to see that little extra effort to take this is the character, but this is what the character would be as the other gender. Like
you said about 10, like doing a feminine 10,
I've
wearing
seen
those high-heeled Converse
Yeah,
shoes.
they make high-heel Converse, and instead of wearing a pantsuit, try and find a skirt suit, maybe, if you wanted to do that. And, I mean, either of them work, but I think it's nice to see that little extra effort, that little extra creativity in there. That makes it more of a cosplay rather than a costume.
Plus, it is easier to find a woman's pea coat in that color than finding a man's pea coat that long
Oh
in
my
that
god.
color. I kid you not. I went to make my jacket the other day, and I put one panel down for like making it, and it covered the whole thing. And I'm like, I didn't get enough fabric for this coat. I'm like,
That's why I got my coat from the Salvation Army.
so sad. I'm going there.
That's why thrift stores are your friend.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about that coat. Like, it's an incredibly rare coat that just shows up at thrift stores from time to time for no apparent reason.
Yes, actually, interesting enough, I got my 10 coat, because we both do 10.
Yeah.
My 10 coat I actually got because I was cosplaying with a friend of mine from Life on Mars, and he needed a coat to do Gene Hunt. And he was really tall, so that came to the right length on him, but on me, it's the right length for 10. And I stole it from him because he was mean to me. So now it's my 10 coat.
We're not condoning stealing.
No, don't steal from people, but he was kind of mean to me. So I took it as collateral. Do either of you have anything else to add?
Collateral's good.